Yeah, I might have had a couple drinks by then. Anyways. I always feel like when you start a video, you're supposed to like start it a certain way, like how you see YouTubers do it with, you know, their name, their all this stuff. So let's try that. What's going on? I'm Stro Styles, and today we're gonna be talking about film limitations. You know, because we've all been there when you want to do something, but it's just you always feel like, dang, I don't have this, I can't do that because of this, because of that, and then ultimately it stops you from doing it. And I mean, you'll always have those hurdles, but if you do these tips I'm talking about, maybe it'll be a little easier for you. Also, doing this at the same time, a limitation is maybe I feel stagnated. I feel like I've been trying to do the same thing. You know, over the past year I've been vlogging, just kind of get into that space more. But I think stylistically, I want to do a whole bunch of different things. So that's part of a limitation, and we're gonna figure out stuff like that today. Doesn't matter if you're doing video, photography, really just anything in general, you're probably always gonna run into some type of limitation. The best way to overcome this is proper planning, because proper planning allows you to identify those limitations before you even run into anything. You know, you say, okay, this is what I have, this is what I'm dealing with, this is what I'm working with, boom, boom, boom. Also, we all have them, I have them, I'm probably the king of them, but you wanna dumb down those grandiose, huge ideas. I know, it's not gonna look right, but trust me, it'll end up better than you think because you're really gonna put your foot into it. But sometimes we just gotta dumb things down so we can get things done. That's the key. We want to get stuff done. And trust me, once you dumb it down, you're gonna work with what you got to make it your best product. So dumb things down, plan it properly, you have the best product. It's cool. I filmed that whole last part. I didn't even know that my strings was off. I wanted to come here because this color looked cool. All right, next point though. Even though we always want to plan properly, we're creative, so we're working on the fly. Sometimes we gotta work with what we got. And sometimes we may not always be working with things like a cameraman or a gimbal. So, gotta find something in place of that. And what always works good is a good tripod. And once you get the tripod, there's so many different things you can do to just really make it creative to not even notice that you ain't have a cameraman at all.
I've been waiting on this moment. I'm finished, this a bonus. I might drop a little leak. Had this running like a week. They gon' have this on repeat. Like I see you back in action. They're nervous when you back in action. I weeded out every distraction. They spend a weekend relaxing. I'm out of getting these bags in. I'm out of back in that.
I don't know if these black lines are still here. If they're here, I'll keep it in the clip. Anyways, so when you're not working with a gimbal or just anything that you would typically be working with, that post-production saves your life. And working with limitations, like we said, my camera died right in the middle of the sequence, but still make it work. It's good. Are there lines? Anyways, when you're not working with a gimbal, post-production will save your life, and shooting enough, and I probably ain't shooting enough, so know what you're doing when you need to do it. After the camera died, it got extra cold and I got extra hungry. So I went home. Here we are the next day with the next tip. To tie back into me piecing together that kind of music video sequence with not as many scenes as I expected because I'm messing up on my own video, you're not always gonna have what you want. And sometimes a lot of what we want nowadays is those beautiful establishing, but sometimes pointless drone shots. Everybody's not gonna have a drone. If you're like me, you might have a drone, but the drone that you have doesn't correctly coincide with the camera you have. Actually, I do. I got the bigger drone, but I need a new smaller one. Anyways, drone shots. Overrated sometimes. So what do you do in that gap? As filmmakers, it should make you 10 times more precise on saying, okay, what am I trying to convey? A lot of times with the drone shot, it's a kind of establishing shot showing you where you are in the city or wherever. Now when you're doing without those, you have to say, okay, How will I establish? How will I continue to tell my story? And chances are you're probably gonna get way better B-rolls, slow-mo stuff, different angles. You gotta work more when you got less. And limitations don't necessarily mean that you're not creating the best product. It just makes your brain work. So no drone usually leads to you doing better B-roll. And if you really, really need those drone shots, I mean, you can go online and type usually wherever you are and get some pretty good stock footage. This video isn't sponsored by Storyblock, so not gonna tell you that. That thing has nothing to do with this video, but my grandma's always had it and I'm an alpha, and well, if you know, you know. All right, let's go. So actually, I did this part yesterday. Well, I tried to do this part yesterday before I started freezing my nuts off. Because it was so cold, I ended up forgetting some things and I didn't get to check and realize that, most importantly, the footage was blurry. Blurry? It's gonna be blurry outside soon, it's getting cold. Anyways, realized that the footage was blurry, but since this is a video about working with film limitations, we're gonna work with what we got. So, this is yesterday.
When filming, there's a constant limitation you will always run into, and that's lighting. Now, lighting can break, make, or take your film, or one of those orders. Anyways, learn your camera and manual, and you go from there. When you get your camera and manual, you get that good aperture. So, work with your best lens. Your best lens is going to give you the brightest light and shutter speed without it looking too blurry. Depends what you're trying to do. And if it's dark, throw that ISO up. God damn.
Alright, yeah, I might have had a couple drinks by then. Anyways, so aside from it being blurry, the real thing was I kind of forgot a couple things. A couple bonus tips actually, which is when you're working with, like weather conditions, maybe it's raining, maybe it's a little gloomy, make that a stylistic choice. And now when you go into those scenes or whatever you're doing, it just feels like that was intended. Maybe you try a night vision shot at nighttime and or like the drunky kind of blur effect, whatever. You wanna make those things that seem like limitations and make those appear intentional. What we talked about so far is some really solid tips when it comes to just filming with limitations and working on the fly when you have to. Planning, like we said in the beginning, is a big part of it, but sometimes you can't always do that. You just gotta go because you can't plan, because just those creative juices aren't really flowing, and that's when you maybe just grab your camera, start shooting. You don't even gotta think about what it is, just find something dope you like, and once you get into the editing room, you'll have an idea of something to put together. Like, you should do this, you really should do this. But one time, I had a project that I had to do for class, and class was at about like 5 o'clock. It's about like 3:30. It's a video project. And I hadn't done nothing yet, and I was like, dang, I need to do something because I'm not taking this L. I'm getting this A. So I went outside and I started filming some leaves. I had no idea on what I wanted to do, but I knew I needed some footage at least. Started filming some leaves. And I was like, alright. I threw it on my computer, looked at the leaves. I was like, okay, how do I spice this up a little more? Threw a poem over it. Made it look real artsy. And got that A. Point being, I didn't know what I was gonna do in the beginning. Just started filming because I had no idea. But I didn't let that lack of idea, that limitation, stop me from making something great. So never let nothing stop you. Just go. Like we've always said. That should like be one of my catchphrases, something like that. I'm gonna work on that. You work on filming. If you got some tricks for overcoming limitations, leave them down in the comments. I'm getting better with that too. We just getting better with this. I'll see y'all later. No, I won't. You know what I mean.